Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Di and today I am bringing you another Yarnie update. This is Yarnie update number 15 for the month of July 2020. I do have 3 finished objects to share with you today and 3 works in progress, all of those which you have not seen before. So it's been another productive month for me. I have been stitching quite a bit and I do have a few plans on the horizon, so I will let you know about that at the end of this video. But let's jump into works in progress. So my first work in progress is living in my brand new sock bag that my mom made for me. This has some barn and farm animal fabric that I'm not even sure where she got, but it is turquoise, and turquoise is one of my favorite colors. So yeah, so obviously there is socks in here, and I do already have one finished sock available. So let me just put that on a blocker for you. This is the Short and Sweet Socks by Kay Jones from the Bakery Bears podcast. This is a patron-only pattern, so they're doing a knitting university type series of tutorials to teach people how to knit certain things. So this is the Magic Loop sock pattern, and it looks like this. This is mine. You can see if I hold it up a little closer, there is an eyelet pattern, slip stitch, heel, French heel flap, and umbrella toe. This is her umbrella toe pattern, which I do enjoy quite a bit. You may recognize this yarn because it is the leftover of the yarn that I used for my daughter's Neville's Joy socks. The yarn is Joy by Lolo Did It. It is a Christmas colorway and it does have sparkle. I bought the sparkle yarn. I don't think you can see it, but it is sparkly. And because I didn't use contrasting heels, toes, or cuffs for her Neville's Joy socks, I knew I would have to use contrasting heels, toes, and maybe cuffs for my pair. We do normally share one skein of yarn, so I do 2 pairs of socks from a skein, but she wanted a complete one yarn sock, and so I obliged and let her have that. So I made mine with contrasting heels and toes with Knit Picks stroll fingering in the Everglade Heather colorway, and I think it goes really well. I'm pretty pleased with how this is looking and really glad to have another pair of Christmas socks on the go. I am very behind on my Christmas sock knitting, and in July I really wanted to cast on a pair of Christmas socks and I just didn't get to it until the end of the month, so that's why I only have one of them done. I have cast on the other one and I will take it out of the bag for you here so that you can see where I am at. This is the amount of yarn that I have left. I think there's plenty enough for me to get my sock done, and then this is how much I have of the Everglade Heather, and I have only just cast on the cuff and done like 3 rounds. I think that's basically all that's there. 64 stitches, 2x2 rib on a 2.25 millimeter circular needle. And these are Chalgoos and I really enjoy them. And yeah, so that is my first work in progress. I did want to have other Christmas socks done in July, but because I was working on 2 sweaters, that just didn't happen. So let me put this away and I will get out my second work in progress for you. My second work in progress is living in this bag, which I got from Utterly Adorable Knits. It is a Hocus Pocus inspired bag that says I smell children, and then you have the cutouts of the three Sanderson sisters, and then on the back side is just this purple black cat fabric. As I've mentioned before, I really enjoy the Utterly Adorable Knits bags, and she makes some really cute ones, so I have several. But inside this bag is the Duchess of Devonshire shawl. I am making this for my dad's wife, and I do call her my dad's wife and not my stepmother, because when my dad married her, I was already an adult, so I just call her by her name. But anyway, this I had started at the beginning of July, and then after I had completed my 2 sweater projects, which, spoiler, there are 2 sweaters that I will be talking about later, but I realized that I had done a section wrong, so I ended up having to rip out the whole thing and start over. So this is what I've gotten done so far. Is that the back? That is the back. This is what I've gotten done so far. So this is the front. I am on the 3rd eyelet pattern. So again, you can see there are eyelets and then just a garter, and yeah, it's already pretty long, but it's not very deep. So I am a little bit concerned. I know when I block this out that the eyelets will grow and that will increase the depth. But I confess I did not swatch before I did this. Because it was a shawl, I wasn't really concerned, and it seems that my row gauge is not right. But you know what? That's okay. I am doing this in a fingering weight yarn. The pattern calls for either fingering weight or sport weight, and I am doing this in 2 colors. I am doing this in this variegated pink and white speckled yarn, which I'm doing for the garter sections, and this is Sweet Nothings by Yarn Lovin' Lady by Lisa. I thought this was going to be a really nice color to do a shawl for my dad's wife, and then the gray is Filcolana Arwetta Classic in just like a dark gray color. This is the first time I'm using both these yarns. I had not ordered from Yarn Lovin' Lady by Lisa before. I did find her on Etsy, nor had I used the Filcolana before, but I am really enjoying it. I am really liking how the color, I'm really liking how the color is coming out, and it's always a little bit different because as the rows grow, the color pattern changes a little bit, and I do find that interesting. So I'm very happy with this so far. I think I've got 1 more eyelet section to go, a garter section after that, and then this one also includes an applied border, which is something that I have not done before. When I ordered the Sweet Nothings yarn, it did come with this cat progress keeper, and so I just stuck that on there. It was pink, it matched perfectly. So yeah, this one is coming along rather quickly, especially because this is only like a couple days of work. I was here at the end of this section right here when I realized that I had done the eyelet section wrong. I tried to rick back just to this section, but I had split a stitch and everything was all tangled, so that didn't work. I just ended up taking everything out. But in doing that and recasting on and restarting, I realized that my gauge has changed. It had gotten a little tighter, which I liked a lot better. My garter was not very neat when I had done it the first time, and it was kind of holy, I would say, because my stitches were a lot bigger. But I'm very happy with how it looks right now. And yeah, so far so good. This is a really, really easy pattern, and I'm not much of a shawl knitter, but I am enjoying it. I don't knit a lot of shawls because it's not really something that I wear. It's not really cold enough where I am to wear it. That being said, my dad and his wife live in Hawaii, so it's not really cold enough to wear it there either, but they do go out to dinner kind of often, and I thought that this would be something nice for her to just throw over a cute dress in the evening if there is a little chill or whatever, just as like a light covering. But yeah, so that is a Christmas present that I am working on. So I have plenty of time to get that one done. Even having to mail that to Hawaii, there's still plenty of time to get that done. And I'm really enjoying that project. So let me get out my third work in progress for you, and I'll be right back. So my third work in progress is living in this huge bag. You can see that there is a Schroeder, a Snoopy, and a Woodstock on this bag. This is a bag that my mom made for me as a diaper bag when my daughter was born, and that is why it looks a little banged up. But Schroeder is my favorite Peanuts character, and my mom punch embroidered that one for me. So this is pretty much the only bag that I have that this project would fit into. It is a baby blanket project. I had mentioned in my last Yarnie update that I would be doing some baby knits because my first cousin and his wife are having their first child. And so I started a baby blanket for them. This is the Fireside Chat blanket by Molly Conroy. It is a free pattern on Ravelry. And as you can see, I am right now just marling two colors together. This blanket is going to be completely done in Lion Brand Pound of Love. I've picked 4 colors to do this with. So there's this charcoal color, there is this teal color. I also picked up a color called Succulent, and then Oxford Gray. And at the time that I had started this blanket, we did not know whether my cousin would be having a boy or a girl. We have recently found out that it would be a girl, but these colors would have worked for either one. As you can see, there's not much progress to be done. This is another one that I started at the very beginning of the month, and I just have not worked on it very much. As I have mentioned before, it is scorching here, and working on blanket projects is just not something that I'm really interested in right now, especially not something that is this thick. So this pattern is written for a super bulky weight yarn. It's also asking for a size 17 millimeter needle. I knew that I was going to be marling 2 worsted weights together. That would only give me a bulky weight, so I went down to a size 15 millimeter needle, and I also cast on some extra stitches. So I think I cast on 97, and the pattern calls for 80 something. But I think this is a good width for the blanket. I have calculated about how many rows I'll need to do for each section, so hopefully that calculation turns out correctly. But yeah, so far so good. I'm really liking how these colors are working together, And yeah, so that is all that I'm working on right now. Now it's time for me to share with you what I finished in July. So right off the bat, I am going to tell you that I will not be showing you one of my finished objects in this video. And the reason for that is because I've done an entire video collection about my journey knitting this project. It is the City Limit sweater by Tanis from over at Tanis Fiber Arts. I've done a 5-part video series called My Knitting Diary on this project, taking you through my yarn choices, how I came along with the knitting, things that I encountered while knitting it, some issues that came up, and then in the last part I do share with you my finished sweater and talk about all of the things. So if you're interested in seeing that sweater, it is something that I am very proud of and I'm very, very happy with. Definitely check out that series of videos. I'll link it down in the description box below if you are interested. So that would be my first sweater project that I finished in July. The second sweater project I finished in July is the Campsite Cardi by Alicia Plummer. I am, again, very happy with this. The color is great. You can't really see much from where it is at right now because it just looks like a plain sweater, but for this one I used the Lion brand LB Collection Superwash Merino in the Hunter colorway, and you can see that I just have 2x2 rib. I really love how thick this collar or button band type section. There are no buttons. This pattern was not written for buttons, but I do really like this. I used a stretchy bind off for all of the bind offs, and the only thing that I did differently was back here. Let me pull that down for you. So down back here, I did do a couple short rows in the ribbing to bring the collar up a bit. But yeah, now you can see that this sweater pattern features an eyelet design that is in increasing frequency, and I will lift it up for you here so you can see what I mean. You can see that they're much more frequent the lower we get in the sweater than they are up here. And yeah, I am very happy with this. I'm very happy to be done with it. It is going to be a nice lightweight sweater to wear once things start cooling down. Just not right now, which is why I am modeling it for you on my form instead of on my body. But this does have quite a bit of positive ease for me, and it's going to fit rather nicely. It is a nice long cardigan. I do have to say that while I enjoy just knitting in the round and knitting round and round and round and round, there's something to be said about knitting flat. I don't enjoy seaming, so if a project is seamed and I have to knit flat, that's different. But this project was pretty much just top down in one piece until you split for the arms, and then again you just continue knitting down the body. I didn't mind all of the purling, and I think it's because I finally found a way to purl without it being a chore. I feel like the way I do it now is just very fluid. It's probably something other people have done. It's probably something other people have made videos on, but it just made things so much easier for me. I don't have a lot of hand strain when I'm doing it anymore, and so I really enjoyed working this project. It also went by super quickly. There is still some interest in there, but it was still a very fast pattern for me to finish. So yeah, this is my campsite cardi, and I am super glad to have yet another sweater to wear once the weather cools down. So I have one more finished object to share with you. Let me put this away and I will get that one out for you shortly. So the last finished object I have to share with you are my daughter's Clipped Crows Fly Again socks. As you can see, they are different. They are to match my Clipped Crows Fly Again sweater that I talked about a couple months ago. I did have to make some adjustments though to make her socks. As you can see, there are multiple bands of color, every set of 2 colors besides this section right here on the bottom. These 3 colors. They all represent one school that Karasuno played in Haikyuu, getting to season 3 of the anime. So as I mentioned, Haikyuu is an anime and a manga series that my family has been enjoying, and I just wanted to pay tribute to that series and make some like fan type of garment to wear. And so I came up with the idea of doing these stripes to represent the teams in sleeves. Well, my daughter was not interested in having a sweater, so she had requested a pair of socks that she could wear that would pretty much be the same. Now, because of the calculation for the stitches, I had to omit one of those teams, so it doesn't exactly match the sleeves on my sweater, but it's pretty close. So I did these in a variety of yarns. There's a lot of Cascade Heritage, there's some Knit Pick Stroll Fingering, there's a few skeins of Lolo Did It's Lil Lolos, which are her mini skeins. There's one color from West Yorkshire Spinners on there. So there are 10 teams represented in these socks, and the way that they are on my sweater are like this. So let me go this way. Yeah, like this. So if you take out the gray at the toes, that's how it is from the top of my sleeve down to the bottom. So I did 44 stitches on a 2.75 millimeter needle, 2x2 rib, slip stitch heel, rounded heel flap, and the toe that I used was different. It is the toe of 4 points, which I saw a tutorial for on Roxanne Richardson's channel. I will link the tutorial down in the description box below. I was just looking for a toe that was a little bit different than what I've been doing lately. I've been doing a lot of Kay Jones's umbrella toes, and I've done some of the normal standard toe, and I just wanted something a little different. This is a pretty vanilla sock besides all of the different colors, and so I thought it would be fun to try out a different toe. I had seen Roxanne's tutorial like a month or so ago, and I thought that would be interesting to try in a sock. Unfortunately, because my daughter's number of stitches that I use for her socks is quite small, it took more brain power than I was able to put out to try to figure out like how many extra rows I would need to put in and all of that. So the toe is a little short, you can kind of tell, but nonetheless it still fits, and I think I will definitely be trying this toe out on a standard 64 stitch sock, so a sock that I do for myself, just to see how I like it. This particular toe does not require any grafting, which is why I wanted to try it. I don't mind grafting, but you know, every once in a while it's nice not to have to graft something together. And so yeah, it does have an interesting look. But like I said, I've linked it down in the description box below in case you're interested in checking out a different type of toe. One other thing I want to mention about this pair of socks is that you can see, if I hold it up like this, that my gauge changed between the time I did this sock and the time I finished this sock. So my gauge was pretty nice and tight on this sock, and that actually made it really, really snug for my daughter. It does still fit. I did have her try it on after I blocked it, and now that it's nice and blocked, it fits better. But you can see that this sock is much bigger. You can probably see here in the West Yorkshire spinner section that my stitches got a bit bigger. Even if you compare just like here on this Lolo Did It Fame, I can't remember what color this is, but it is on my project page. This section and up here, you can see there's a difference in the size of the stitches. And that's because I took quite a bit of time from between when I finished this part of the sock to when I finished this part of the sock. And I really need to know not to take too much time in between doing pairs of socks. But you can even see that it is more baggy in this section than this sock is, even after blocking. But I did have her try them both on. She says they fit fine, and she's very happy with these socks, so now I can give them to her after I have finished recording this episode. So now that I've finished 2 sweaters, I am garmentless on the needles. I do not have a garment on the needles, and I feel kind of weird about it. So I really want to get another garment on the needles. That being said, it's probably not going to be a garment for me. I did just finish 2 sweaters for myself. And there is a sweater design that I have been wanting to cast on for my daughter. I'm actually going to make it a little Christmassy in the colors. And so I should really get going on that soon so that she can wear it during Christmas. My mother has also asked me for a sweater, so I've been looking around for a pattern that I'd like to do for her. She's not really picky about what the sweater looks like. She just says that she wanted a sweater. And so that's something else that I've got plans for on the horizon. But more presently, probably the day this video goes up, Natalie, I think that's her name, over at Nitty Natty is hosting Sock Week, and this is like her annual thing. I think it's like a knit along, but the objective of this is to finish one sock, not a pair of socks, just one sock during the week. So it's a Sunday to Sunday, August 9th through 16th is when that's happening. So I'll probably be jumping in on that. You'll notice that you hadn't seen my tiny window sock in this episode, and that's because I have not worked on it. I don't think that will be the sock that I work on during Sock Week, just because it is a little bit more involved. And I kind of want something a little bit easier, a little bit more mindless to work on for Sock Week. Coincidentally, Sock Week coincides with Shark Week, which is something that I really enjoy. However, I have been unable to watch it lately because we do not have cable. But I do love shark documentaries. And so, yeah, I think I'll be joining in on Sock Week. I really think that getting one sock done in a week is feasible. I did finish that one short and sweet sock in just a couple of days, and so I don't think that I'm going to have any problem. My only problem is going to be figuring out which pattern I want to work on for that. So that's definitely something that's coming up for me in the future. Other than that, there are a bunch of things that I really want to cast on, but I'm trying to limit myself. In the background, I haven't been talking to you about this, but I have been participating in the Knit Girls Stash Dash challenge. That'll be ending on the 22nd of this month. I'm doing pretty good, especially with the 2 sweaters that I finished, but I need to complete a couple more things before I hit my goal, which was 5,000 meters. I think I will be able to do that. But that's really all that I've been working on lately. I have been wanting to cast on all the things, but I just need to prioritize myself a little bit, especially with all of the holiday knitting coming up. Not necessarily for gifts, though I do have gifts that are on the horizon, especially with the baby gifts. Those will be around November. The babies due around November, so I should prioritize those, but heart wants what it wants, and so I'm not going to promise that I'm not going to cast on anything I don't have planned, but we shall see how that goes. Let me know what you've been working on. Let me know if you are participating in Sock Week or if you have been participating in Stash Dash. Stash Dash is something new for me this year. I hadn't heard about it until this year, and I thought it would be interesting to challenge myself, especially with all of the extra time that I've had to knit because we've not been going out. So yeah, that's pretty much all I've got for you today. As I mentioned in my last Yarnie update, I have gone ahead and duplicated all of my project pages from Ravelry onto my blog. So if you're having accessibility issues, definitely check out the link down in the description box below to my project pages on my blog. For those of you who are not having issues with Ravelry, you can still check out the links down in the description box below, because the very first link on each of those project pages is to my Ravelry project page. All of the links are down in the description box below. If you have any questions on anything that I've shared with you today, please let me know. And yeah, that's all I've got for you today. I hope you're all doing great. I hope you're all safe and healthy. And until next time, take care and smile always. Bye.